You were born in dust, in a forgotten village where the land gave nothing but cracked soil and prayers that never reached heaven. The year was 1605. Your family owned nothing but debt. Bread was a festival food, meat a legend. Your father prayed for rain, cursed the sun, and blamed fate. But you, his last child, were the only thing that seemed touched by grace. You had a voice. Not just a voice, an angel's echo. High, clear, and haunting. You sang at wells, in markets, while tending goats. And people stopped. Buckets paused mid-air, hands froze mid-argument, and silence spread just to catch the sound. In a world beaten down by famine, your voice sounded like hope. But hope is expensive. One Sunday, priests and soldiers passed through. They heard you by the well, called for your father, and put a pouch of coins in his hands heavier than any harvest. The priest said, "Your boy is chosen. God himself has touched his throat." Your father smiled, toothless and desperate, "Chosen by God, or chosen by anyone, I don't care, as long as he pays my debts." That night you dreamed of cathedrals, choirs, silk robes, maybe even the king's court. You thought being chosen meant being saved. You were wrong. They took you and 5 other boys. You laughed nervously, thinking training would begin at dawn. Instead, knives appeared. The pain was beyond anything your young mind could hold. 2 boys bled out within hours. Their screams still echo in your ears. You lived, but survival felt worse than death. Something unnamed had been stolen forever. When the fever broke, you stood in robes, mouth opened, and your voice, miraculously, remained the same. Angelic. Pure. Eternal. Priests called it divine. Nobles called it priceless. Everyone called it a gift. Everyone but you. You sang before kings and queens, bishops and dukes. Crowds gasped. They said heaven itself bent low to listen. Coins rained. Applause thundered. The boy from a starving village had become the voice of God. But in the choir hall, boys mocked you, bird boy. Halfman. Cursed thing. Girls sneered, sing higher, little bird. Maybe one day you'll grow a beard. You prayed for friends. Instead, you buried them. One by one, the other boys, cut like you, died of fevers, bleeding lungs, and broken bodies. You held their hands, whispered prayers, and watched them dumped into the sea without coffins. No hymns. No respect. Just silence. Training became torment. Hours of scales until your throat bled. Hymns until your chest burned. Before royal feasts, the choir master hissed, "God gave you this voice. You will not waste it." Higher. Louder. Again. You sang until your body shook. Until you coughed blood into your sleeves. Nobles clapped, raised their cups, and called for encores. You staggered back to your chamber, collapsing on cold stone, wondering if you were blessed or cursed. By 19, your gift began to crack. Notes faltered. Your voice wavered. The choir master sneered, "Your miracle is fading." And so are you. Fresh boys arrived, dragged from villages, cut, trained, broken, just as you had been. They replaced you before you turned 20. You begged to go home. Your father spat, "You're no son of mine. You're not even a man." Your mother wept, but did not stop him. You left with nothing. Back at the palace, you became a servant. You scrubbed floors, carried water, emptied chamber pots. Nobles who once begged for your voice now mocked you, "The bird has lost his song. Now he's just a crow." When mockery turned to touch, you fled. You thought freedom might taste sweeter. It didn't. Farmers laughed at your weak arms. Blacksmiths mocked your thin body. Taverns threw you out. Even beggars sneered when you asked for scraps. You slept in barns, mud clinging to your skin. You sang in markets, hoping for coins. People listened, but not with awe. They stared at your strange body, tossed coins like feeding a stray dog. Not applause, pity. Sickness rotted you. Fever burned. Bones ached. Coughs rattled your chest until blood spattered the ground. Your voice, once golden, once divine, shrank into a broken whisper. One night, you collapsed outside a tavern. No priest prayed. No noble cared. No friend came. By dawn, you were gone. They buried you in a pauper's pit. No coffin. No hymn. Just dirt. They called you chosen. Blessed. A gift from God. But you knew the truth. You weren't chosen. You were sold. And all that remained was silence, broken only by the memory of a voice people once applauded but never cared to understand. If you stayed this far, you know the cruelty of history hides behind words like blessing and miracle. This was just one forgotten life. There are more. Stories of children turned into tools, gifts twisted into cages, miracles born of knives. If you want to hear them, stay with us. Because history remembers kings. We remember the broken.